You will need to remove the two air inlet ducts, red arrows, as well as the front engine cover, yellow arrow, to get access to the air filter housing on top of the engine. Remove each duct by compressing them towards the engine, red arrow, and slipping them off the air inlet. With the ducts off, remove the front engine cover. It pulls up and away from the engine, yellow arrow. The cover is held on by 5 clips, red arrows, and will easily come off with hand pressure. With the car safely supported off the ground, you will need to remove the engine tray. There are 6 8mm bolts, red arrows, holding the tray on. The rear 2 also help hold the transmission tray. If you're going to leave the transmission tray on, remove the 2 rear bolts first, lower the engine tray, then reattach the transmission tray bolts, then remove the remaining 4 bolts on the engine tray. With the tray removed, you will see the radiator drain plug on the lower left front of the car. Place a catch bucket or tray under the plug and use a large flathead screwdriver to open the drain plug as indicated by the yellow arrow. The fluid will come out slowly at first, so open the tank cap to break the vacuum and help speed things up. The fluid drains out a small spigot, yellow arrow, facing rearward and not through the red plug. Remove the upper radiator to coolant pump hose. Mercedes-Benz uses a quick disconnect attaching points, but sometimes the wire clip, red arrow, you need to pull out is facing something that does not allow it to be pulled straight out. If this is the case, just unclip it from the radiator and then pull the hose out. You must reinstall it before reattaching the hose. The other end of the hose is attached to the thermostat by a traditional hose clamp, red arrow. Use a flathead screwdriver, loosen the clamp, and remove the hose. In the middle of the hose, there is a small overflow hose, yellow arrow, that attaches and branches off to the reservoir. Use a flathead screwdriver and remove the clamp and hose from the reservoir, yellow arrow. Underneath the overflow hose is the auxiliary coolant pump. There is a hose that runs from the auxiliary coolant pump to the coolant pump on the engine, red arrow. Use a set of pliers and disconnect this hose from the auxiliary pump. On the lower right part of the radiator, remove the quick disconnect coolant hose, red arrow. This hose is lower than the radiator drain plug, so fluid will come out of it when you remove it. Be prepared to catch and dispose of the fluid properly. This is also a quick disconnect fitting that is at an odd angle. I just unclipped it and separated the hose from the radiator. Remember to reinstall it before installing the new hose. There are 2 hoses that connect to the lower part of the coolant pump on the engine. One from the auxiliary coolant pump, red arrow, and one from the lower right radiator, yellow arrow. Both are held on by traditional hose clamps. Use a flathead screwdriver and remove both clamps and hoses. You may have to run a small screwdriver or pick between the hose and pump to break the seal, or if you're replacing them, just cut them off. Installation is the reverse of removal, and do not forget to refill your system with coolant, top it up, and bleed it. Thanks for watching. Click here to view the original article, along with hundreds of other DIY content for your car.